Hello, and welcome back to the House of Shenanigans. My name is Caleb. I am running a little D&D 5e, and we are kind of in the middle of some fun here. I'll let the guys introduce themselves real quick, set up the situation, and then we'll go from there. So, Clyde.
Hello, I am Clyde, as he said. I am playing Gardane, our Forge Cleric, and my grandson says hello.
Matt.
Hello, I am playing Cajun Moonseeker. He is a druid, and he has a deep connection with the beasts of the land. And once everyone's introduced, if you need a vision of last time, I can do that too.
Sounds good. Jimmy Boy.
I'm Jimmy Boy. I'm playing Critter, the cat man, in my tight leather clothing with big fluffy paws for my hands and feet, and a head that looks like I've had a perm over my entire face and head. And I am on my first assignment in a long time, very long time, instead of just passing out notes to everybody at the stockade. I actually get to be a part of the job, which is very exciting, as I have been running all over the place and summoning blades from my hands.
And Eric.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Eric, and I am playing the local residential badass dwarf known as Ulthane. Paladin of awesomeness and killer of many things.
Very good. Looks like we're going to get a recap from Matt. He's going to get an extra inspiration for doing it.
Beautiful. So last time, Uther summoned the entire guild into a common area and basically described the latest situation to them, which is that the milestone, a very powerful tool that has been in the guild for some time, and the very instrument that allows them or us to help people wherever they are, it has gone missing, or it has been taken, and this is a matter of some trouble. And so after hearing that, and after a few days, he pulled our group in to describe a situation that had come to his attention near the town of Horizon, which was 4 days travel by horse. And so after hearing a little bit about it, we went to investigate what was going on there. And what we had heard was that there was this occurrence of a farm having been raided, and a lot of food being taken, and this appearance of very strange stone formation. And apparently when the milestone is used improperly, things like that might happen. It's not guaranteed. Could be from something else, but it was a possibility. And so we've gone to investigate that. We went to the town of Horizon. We met with Malloy, a dwarf innkeeper. We met with the mayor, and he told us that the farmer, whose name was Grickland, had all of these crops go missing. So, and in town at that time as well, we learnt that the great Zito was performing, and he's a bard of some renown, but none of us have heard of him, which was strange. But, you know, bards are different from place to place, I suppose. Nothing sus there, I suppose. And so we went to investigate Grickland's farm. and we met him. He's a behemoth of an orc, really large tusks, mohawk, and he had told us that the strawberries and cabbages are gone, but the orchards have been left alone. And we went to investigate that. It was turning dark, but it wasn't quite dark enough to call it off for the night. So we went to investigate. We went out to the cornfields and felt a rumble in the earth. Cajun bent down to see what he could feel from in the earth, and he felt like he'd been stabbed in his soul, not just in his flesh. And we were attacked after breaching the sort of harvest land to where this tall grass was. And apparently there was these creatures hiding in the grass. They had many limbs and were attacking us with chitinous daggers and things. And once we had defeated them, the final scene of the session was that this massive rock leaped out of the earth, obscured the moon for a short amount of time, and materialized or cracked open into this fearsome creature about 15 to 20 feet tall that was residing in the earth. And that is where we left off at the start of that combat. If there's anything else, feel free to add.
And I thought that was good. Like I say, take a point of inspiration for that. And I left my cards in order, so we don't even have to roll initiative. I know where we're at. And since that big creature popped out, I'll give you guys the benefit, say that was its turn. And Ulthane, a large rocky crustacean, 15 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and maybe 20 feet deep, stands in front of you. He's speechless.
Yeah, apparently it has caught him unawares.
He failed his fear save.
Are you muted, our friend Ulthane?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you're up first in initiative here.
Hold on a second.
No problem. Responsibility is a real thing.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Anyway, so we have a crab that we're fighting. All right, well, screw it. Old thing grabs the glaive and goes to town.
All right, so this thing's up in front of you. He's about 10 feet into the tall grass, but he's easily visible because he's so big. But yeah, run up and give it what you
got. 23, 24.
Both of those will hit.
He takes 18 points of damage as I smack him with the blade end of the glaive and the butt end of the glaive.
Very cool.
Come on, the pretty. Let's see what you got.
Very nice. Anything else you want to do on your turn? Bonus action or rest of your movement?
Nah. Bonus action was smacking him with the butt end of the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Gardane. Your brother just walked up on this thing. What are you going to do?
I am going. I don't know if my ring will work this way, but I am going to use my Everfall ring
Okay.
and make him have to do. Well, I got to get within 30 feet of him, so I'll move within 30 feet of him.
You're within 30 feet.
Okay, then I'm going. Let's see. I'm going to make him do. I need a Constitution save for him, or he's fallen prone. Although I don't know if this works.
All right. He got a 20 on the dice on the save.
Okay, because I was reading it says not securely on. Okay, well, I've had this ring for a while and it didn't work this time.
It's a good use of it, considering what you're fighting here. So,
yeah.
But okay, so as your action, you want to move or do anything else?
Oh, nope. I'm going to stay right here.
Okay. Cajun.
All right. Cajun, seeing this this strange creature, he doesn't even consider it a beast, leap out of the earth. He immediately would feel the same jabbing pain that perhaps he was feeling earlier in his soul, and he touches. He reaches his hands into the bark that is covering his skin, and it starts to dissolve and break up. And as it does, creatures begin to crawl out, insects of many varieties, and they crawl out and start to create like a swarm all around him. And he speaks a word, and the light of the moon seems to be extra bright just for a second and illuminates the creatures, and they just all of a sudden their backsides start to glow just like a firefly's, and then they just all swarm towards this creature. And I am casting Fairy Fire on him. So what needs to happen while I find my spell is he needs a Dex saving throw, please.
All right. I got a 14.
14. Let me check on that for you. I don't believe that'll be enough. 14. I think that might just be enough because my wisdom went up to 18. So before 12 and my proficiency, which is 3. Oh no, I think he needs a 15. Is that right? I should have checked that. 4 plus. Actually, our proficiency is only 2 at the moment.
Gotcha.
So yes, he does manage to save, unfortunately, as these creatures they fly towards him, and then they all just turn face and look at Cajun, and then just land on the earth and start debating with themselves whether they really want to get that close to such a fearsome creature. And so Cajun will wander up. Actually, hang on, what sort of spell? He will keep his distance for the moment, but Barkskin is now off because both of them were concentration spells. And I'm pretty sure just by trying to cast, or I did cast it, so my concentration on Barkskin is gone. So I'm back down to 13.
Okay. Critter.
How far away am I from it again?
So when we ended, all 4 of you were standing around, each flanking the last falling Thrycreen.
Okay.
Right. And so you guys, essentially when this thing came up out of the ground, the way I'm viewing it is when the fight started, Ulthane, Gardane, and you were essentially in a T 10 feet away from this thing, and 10 feet back would have been Cajun.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to run up to it, blade still out. I'm going after it. All right. So an 18 and a higher.
Both will hit.
All right. Huge amounts of psychic damage. Lies. 4 points of psychic damage, 7 points of psychic damage. And I'll use 20 more feet of my movement to run away from it.
Okay.
I have mobile, so that doesn't draw attacks of opportunity.
Okay. Where are you running? Into the grass? Back the way you came?
Yeah, back the way I came.
Okay. All right. So the ground. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's all right. I already said that's what I'd do.
All right. So the ground kind of rumbles, and it seems like it's off in the distance still, not directly under it. But then this creature rumbles as well, and you can see its tail shake for a moment, and its face opens up, and it makes this terrible hissing sound, and then this green sludge bursts forth. And let's see, that would put let's see, high or low, Clyde?
High.
Okay. So this line of sludge shoots forth from its mouth, sprays forth even. And I need Ulthane, Cajun, and Critter to make dex saves. Yes, you all have bless as well, so don't forget. You are muted, Jim.
9.
All right. So, let's see. Let me do the math here.
Wet kitty.
Ulthane and Cajun, you guys take 7 points of acid damage. Critter, you take 14.
Okay.
Ulthane, you are up.
Well, taking his. All right. I get a 17 and a 16. D4.
Both of those hit.
Oh, well.
17, 16, both hit.
All right. D10, D4. This time it'll be 12 points of clobbering damage as he hits him with the blade end and the blunt end of the polearm.
Nice. So give me an idea of how this diminutive dwarf who is standing toe-to-toe with this thing, what this kind of looks like.
So, yeah, he's holding the glaive as though you would hold a great axe, except instead of like using, because usually you have to, kind of whirl the great axe around in a circle motion to arc it down. He kind of uses that motion, hitting it with the blade end of the glaive, and then as soon as the glaive's blade hits, he'll kind of almost not spin it, but kind of use his hand on the off, kind of almost looks like he's two-weapon fighting with it. But he takes the other end and just almost uppercutting it in the in the face with the butt end of the polearm.
Nice. Yeah, and once this happens, you see some of that chitinous armor on this spot that you have been going to town on. A little bit of it starts to chip, crack a little bit. Anything else you want to do?
Nope. That's all I can do.
Gardane.
Okay. I want to see if I can. I want to use my ring. I have this new ring. And it needs to work. No, nope. I'm casting. I'll do something else. This ring is aggravating me. I shall cast spiritual weapon.
Alrighty.
Yeah, spiritual weapon. And I don't know if I can attack with it at the same time I cast it. No, wait. I think this is concentration, isn't it?
If you're casting spiritual weapons a bonus action to cast. It's not a concentration spell. You can make an attack roll with it as soon as you cast it.
Oh,
because you're using your bonus action to attack with it.
And that's what I'm okay. Then I'm casting. Gardane throws, rears back and throws his hammer, and from the hammer, this spiritual. It's like he's throwing his hammer at him, but he still has a hold of it, and this large spiritual ghost, like flaming hammer, starts to float next to him, and Gardane raises his hand up and brings it down, and the hammer seems to follow the movements of his hammer.
Nice. Do you make an attack roll with that?
Yeah.
Nice.
I have to use my spell attack for it, and I have a D4 there. 14. 16?
16 hits.
Okay. Okay, 1d8 plus my... Okay. And he takes 11 points of radiant damage.
Nice. Nice.
So I'm staying right where I'm at.
Okay. And that brings us to Cajun.
All right. Seeing that his attempt at illuminating the creature last turn did not work, Cajun sees this this acid spewing out, and sees that while himself and was it Gardane that dodged as well?
Ulthane took the hit and dodged.
Right, so Ulthane was the one that took the damage, right? Yeah. So Ulthane didn't manage to dodge like Cajun did, and he gazes over and says, "It'll be okay, friend." And he moves his fingers to his mouth and makes this whistling sound. And off in the distance, you hear this neighing, like some sort of weird, some sort of horse. And as you gaze off into the distance, you see this gleaming white light, and a horse comes into view, but it has a long ivory horn issuing from its head, and it comes galloping up towards you, and then comes to a trot, and then just comes and nudges into you, and the horn, not the spiky end, but just the blunt edge of the horn just furrows into your shoulder, and it sort of rubs its head and then neighs and then just disappears into moonlight. And I'm casting Cure Wounds, and let's see how that does. All right. So it'll be 10 points of healing for Ulthane.
As soon as a horse approaches him, out of nowhere, he almost snaps the glaive around like, it's a horse! Oh. He looks at it, and when he sees it, he's I'm, feels like the healing. He goes, and it kind of calms him a little bit, but dwarves and horses.
Fair enough. And that's Cajun's turn.
All right. I'm assuming Cajun walked up so that he could,
Cure Wounds. Yeah, I would need to be next time.
Cool. Excellent. That brings us to Karita.
Got it. Nothing's worse than a wet cat. So I am charging this thing all mad, hissing and spitting all over the place, rage in my eyes. Uh-oh. Let's see, it's a 19 and a 17.
Both of those hit.
All right, so 9 psychic, then 3 psychic. And instead of rebounding to where I was, I'm going to put myself use the remainder of my 20 feet to rebound in a different direction.
Okay.
So that I'm not around other people to be sprayed on.
Very good. The giant clattering mandibles. You see it kind of rear back and its tail shakes for a moment. And then its mouth opens up, but instead of spewing any sort of sludge, it just tries to take a bite out of Gardane. And with only so it reaches down and it tries to take a bite at you, but almost seemingly very much like the previous bugs that you encountered today, it bites over the top of you, not properly anticipating your size. And then it leans back, and as it leans back, you see it is laboring to right itself. Ulthane.
All right. Let's see here. All right. I got a 25, which is my nat 20, and I got a 15. I don't know if the 15 will get it, though.
The 15 will hit.
Oh, okay. So if you do crits like I remember, it's max damage, then you roll?
Bingo.
Okay. Okay, so that's 23 plus 6, 29 points of damage.
Excellent. So how do you fell this creature?
So when he takes a bite tries to take a bite out of my brother, it kind of pisses Ulthane off that I've been here all this time and doing all this to you, and you're just going to take on the dwarf that, is just standing off. Nah. I will not be outdone by my brother and show that what I've been doing is he's going to go at my brother. Nope. This is my fight. So when he rears back, like he gets hit with the back of the glaive, and just before he actually turns around, he literally just stabs the thing as hard as he can, almost the glaive going through the plating. And then, it falls to the ground. Ulthane goes, "You're my kill."
Nice. And this big creature, you see it kind of get that stab, and it rears back, lets out a yell, and then it begins to fall, and it falls forward, and you guys, you have plenty of time. You quickly step out of the way, and this thing lands, thorax first, claws out to its side, kind of splayed open wide. And so now you stand in the moonlight around several bugs. What do? You are out of initiative.
I really like that throne thing that the Thri-kreen had. Can I pick those up?
Yeah, there's a couple of them around.
Yeah.
Cajun will kneel and place his head, his ear against the earth like he did last time to get a sense or even hear if there's any movement in the earth, and whether there's anything more coming towards them.
Okay. Yeah, give a perception check.
All right. Okay. We got, it's a 12.
And so you said last time that your connection was mainly animalistic with the beasts of nature more than it is.
That is correct.
Gotcha. And so specifically, now that you know the telltale signs, you don't hear any of the, none of the clattering jaws from the smaller ones, and you don't feel the distinct, what you can now place as the rumble of whatever this was as it was moving. And you can actually, now that it's fallen forward, you can see the trail that it actually burrowed its way through as it was coming, and it kind of leads off into the tall grass, but you do not sense any more of them, at least not in your area.
All right. And the direction that trail is going, is that towards the rock formation?
It's definitely disappearing off into that the direction of where the rock formation was before it lifted up into the sky.
Okay. So Cajun will sort of get up to a kneeling position, and he will say to the others, "I do not hear more of these foul creatures. Whatever that stone formation was appears to be gone now."
So that stone formation is still in the sky. The rocks themselves almost kind of uprooted themselves and squished into circular, almost moon, but some sort of structure, and then it went up, and as it eclipsed the moon, this giant creature burst up from the ground. So that's still up in the sky.
It's still there. Okay. So he'll look up and say, "But maybe it will be back. Has anyone else seen such a unnatural sight?"
No. This is my first time to see rocks float in those things.
Rested his glaive on his shoulder, and he goes, "I kind of hope the little floating rock gives us some more of them."
So, would there be any way to guess the distance between us and this floating rock formation?
So are you wanting to know the distance between where you are on the ground and where it is in the sky, or where it came up out of the ground?
Well, he's more concerned about where it is right now.
So it probably passed maybe 100 feet in the air, and it's moved slightly. So 100 feet, well, let's say maybe 75 feet is where it blocked your vision of the moon, and it's continued up, and now it's probably about 100 feet in the air.
Cajun will look to the others and say, whatever happens, I do not want to be under that thing if it comes crashing down to Earth once more.
I agree with you. That's not good. Mind you, not that I agree with you. Unfortunately, if I would have, and I'm backing away step by step, had we not been distracted by this giant creature, I'm sure my memory would have been more on what's going. Oh, this is bad. That. Oh, this is bad, and I'm continuing to step forward, and to the point that even the blades in my fists have disappeared, and my my blade that I shoved into my hand, my small dagger, it falls, literally pops out of my hand and falls to the ground. I reach down, pick it up real quick, stand up, shove this little curved blade into one of my pockets. This is what happens when you use the milestone. It would be good if you got away. And I am continuing to back up further and further, to the point that seeing this, I'm gonna move as far as I can. I'll move. I'm not. I've seen this. I've heard of it, but I don't know how long I've got. So I'll move back. Right now, I can move 100.
So 100 feet would move you probably 2/3 or maybe a little bit more of the way back towards Gricklin's home.
Okay. And now, it is very obvious that not only am I looking at it now, I'm looking around.
Okay, so you've moved away. Cajun will look up to this thing, and he will look to his two companions that have stayed where they are at this point. He says, perhaps it is possible to shatter this thing. The power of the moon might help. And I look to the others and I say, but I don't know. Perhaps it is just rock. But why does it float? I do not understand. And he's basically looking to the others for a point of view.
Whole thing, this whole time, this glaive resting on his shoulders, watching the cat run off. He kind of, has this look of like, well, that's just great. Somebody just abandoned us in the field. That's wonderful. Very professional. And he looks back to the rock and he goes, whatever the rock, if this is a shard of said milestone, it's going to have to be dealt with one way or another. So leaving it like it doesn't exist isn't an answer to, isn't it? And just backing off and speaking of prophecy about something isn't really giving us any information on why should be moving away from it either. I mean, other than it's a big giant rock and falling, same can be said for a boulder falling from a mountain.
Turning, as you reference me, I'm back there still looking around, look up to the rock. You watch the telltale sign of me shoving the blade back into my hand. You watch as the psychic blades pop back out of my hand, and I am in a full defensive posture.
Ulthane looks to his brother and he goes, "What say you, brother?" Ulthane claps his hand together and he goes, "I have silenced him. For once, I have done the impossible." Oh, hell.
Did you catch that, Gardain?
But what does it mean?
No, I just got back. Sorry.
Oh, so apparently there's a rock. The rock that's floating in the air is what happens when you use the milestone. Kitty Cat went running away from it. Ulthane pretty much saying that, well, of course, if a rock falls, you don't want to be under a rock when it falls, because it's dangerous regardless, because it's a big giant boulder. Ulthane pretty much looked at his brother and was like, "What make of you of all this?"
Well, we have to find.
And Cajun pretty much said perhaps it could be shattered with the assistance of the moon.
I don't know about all the shattering with the moon, but let's go where the stone actually popped up. We might be able to bring it down without shattering it.
Cajun will reply, if we make our way to where it once lay, would we not be under it? Or is it making a curved arc? Is it up towards the sky? Is it straight up?
It looks like it's moving straight up.
Would we not be under it? And then it could come back down again. Perhaps there is a mechanical way of doing it, but I do have the power of the moon at my disposal, and I could illuminate it and perhaps force it down to the earth once more. But there is not much time.
Not really being able to hear what you guys are saying, and well, rather not really paying attention to what you're saying, even if I could. But I do recognize you're not moving. You all hear loud and clear in your minds. We are not aware of who took the milestone, but anybody who can do that and knows how to use it is very formidable, and it would be wise if we left. Our job was not to fight this battle. It will not end well, and I will not put my tail on the line. And
you guys are talking, and all of a sudden you hear a voice. Oh, shit. What have you guys done to my crops? And anybody who would turn around would see Gricklin standing in the line of acid that sprayed past you into his crops that just burned right through them. And he's standing in the middle of it looking around. Oh, you guys were supposed to take care of that. And he stops. What the hell is that? And then you hear another voice. Hey, Michael. I've had too much to drink, I said. Don't know what the hell that is. And more voices, just kind of, you can hear them saying, oh, you know, shrieking, gasping, oohing and awing. And a crowd has now come forth and is standing just kind of around the farm and outside of Gricklin's home. But it's all the, you know, it's the mayor, it's Malloy, it's Zito, it's the bartender and his children. It's Gricklin. Everybody from this town, which is probably, probably closer to 600 people due to the performance. Everybody's now standing around Gricklin's house, around his farm, kind of looking up to the sky at this rock formation.
I take charge. Everybody within 120 feet of me. I am saying it, and no, I raise my hands up in the air with the blade still in it. Still shining, glistening out of my fists, and telepathically sending to everybody, this is very dangerous. Everyone, get back to the village now. Seek shelter. Go, run! And I'm shouting this mentally to them, and not seeing them move. Finally, out loud, I shout, run!
And the rock formation in the sky, as you say, run. A couple of screams let out, and a few people do turn and run, but most stay. The rock tremors noticeably, and a light shines directly down out of the middle of it, and it's pointing at the ground. And then you cannot make out what it is because of how far away, but something falls. And it lands off in the distance in the high ground. You don't know exactly where.
Well, old thing says, well, guess the riddle of what's in it solved. With his glaive hoisted over his shoulder, and he goes, might as well go make ourselves known to it. I look back towards the town people. I says, you know, you might want to leave. Just saying. I look back to my brother. I says, coming. I look back to Cajun and fuck, I can't remember your name. My brother's character, I forgot his name for a minute. Told him, I says, coming. Gardain is his name. I remembered.
Cajun scratches his head with his large blackened hand and he sort of says, whatever was our duty, these people are out here. And I would not want them to meet grisly doom. I will stay while they yet stay. But let us try to usher them away back to their houses. This voice that I hear in my mind, it does not make me feel comfortable.
Old thing nods. Look at my brother.
It doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Come on. Let's go take these people back, and then we'll go see what's there.
So the whole thing kind of places his pole arm on the ground. Kind of almost look like a guard, and looks at his brother and he says, "So your answer is to gather them up, have them flee, and whatever just dropped out of it could be coming this way. What happens if it gets on us and the townspeople are with us? Not only are we going to have to try to kill it before it hurts any more people, we could either serve as a barricade or we could serve as a shield."
One iron at a time, brother. One iron at a time.
They have a better chance if we fight with them. Let us try to compel them to return to their homes, where I believe it should be safer, while we yet stay.
Everybody make a perception check.
How long does bless last? Or do we still have it?
I think it's minutes.
My character.
Yeah, like, is it 10 minutes or just a full minute?
Crap. I think it's like an hour or so, but hold on.
1 minute. No, I was sitting
Okay.
there. My character. I was fixing to say my character sheet doesn't tell me how long it lasts, but yeah, it does. It lasts as 1 minute.
Okay.
It's definitely been a minute.
Yeah. All right, so you all faintly hear a sound on the wind, above the noise of the people, talking and shouting and screaming, and above the sound of even your own conversations. You hear very lightly. Did you hear me do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Very lightly. And then something else comes falling out of that hole in the rock in the sky. This is much smaller, but it seems to almost ride the wind with its own mind.
Cajun starts to try to usher these people back to their homes. He'll walk up to them and say, "While this thing is here, you may be in danger. Yes, it is a spectacle, but you should return to your homes where it would be safe." And he tries to compel them to get back to safety.
Hearing you say that and then hearing this sound, a smile comes across my face, and I put my hand on his shoulder, or on your shoulder, Cajun, and I go, "Oh, everything's gonna be fine. That's Craig. That whistle, that's how he calls his saw that he rides on. We're in a brief moment of rare kitty joy. This is going to be. We have help. We have help. Yes, everything's going to be fine." Yes, and I clap those two big furry paws together. And while he continues to usher people, I let him, and I start reaching out as far as I can with my telepathy. "Craig, we're trying to get," and letting him know, "we're trying to get these people back to their homes. We don't know what's going on with the rocks. Whoever's using the milestone is somewhere nearby." And I just keep sending that message over and over again like an SOS until I get either some sort of response or I see him come closer.
I'm gonna help Usher get people to move.
So yeah, through your help, the people, especially once the cat has calmed down, once the message in their head, not only are you guys familiar with Craig, it seems as soon as they hear the SOS message in their head as well, many of them, almost calm down. And a lot of them begin heading back into town, specifically because you see Zito's lute player. He strums a couple notes and says, "Don't forget the third performance coming up." And they turn around, and much of the crowd does go. The bartender and his children, Malloy, the mayor. Grickland is the only one who kind of stays back, and he's more looking at his crops than he is actually worried about you guys at this point. But the crowd has either cleared out or is clearing out.
All right. Well, Cajun would continue to do this, but he would also try to point out this creature to Grickland and make him aware that the creature is responsible for the acid and that we had to physically defeat it in order to provide any form of safety for ourselves or for the nearby area.
And as you pointed out, he looks at you and you can just see this distraught look in his face. You pointed out, and then he's like, "Oh my God, you guys killed an Ankeg." Oh, you guys don't know this. The fertilizer that Malloy sells us, it's great. But this thing, oh my God, my trees are going to be huge. And he goes over and with like a karate chop breaks off part of like the first joint of its arm. And it's this enormous bent over claw. And he hoists this thing up on his shoulders and he's carrying it back over to his land. And he drops it and then comes around and chops the other claw off, puts it up and walks it back over. And this is now what he's doing.
Cajun just sighs, just goes, "These people do not seem to register just how dangerous this could be."
It's not going to be a problem if Craig is here, and I'm still reaching out and I'm getting no response. He must be already dealing with it.
So Cajun didn't see what the others saw with the thing going missing. So has, other than the brief, like it's gone from Uther, has there been, like, Cajun doesn't really know what happened, so he was sort of not knowing that Craig went sort of with it.
Yeah, specifically, I think I know where you're going with this. What Uther, the information that he gave about it was that the milestone was stolen.
Yeah.
And that they did not know who it was. And all you know about Craig is Uther said that he was on vacation.
Right. So Cajun would look over to Critter, and he would say, "Well, Maybe it is Craig, but last time I heard he was on vacation.
Oh no, I'm certain it's just like with Bravo and how Bravo came back to help during her vacation. Everything should be fine. Craig is one of our best. Here, help me tear apart this on cake.
It seems that
Uther had his way of getting hold of people.
I didn't quite catch that, sorry.
I said, Uther does have his way of getting hold of people.
Yes. I'm not sure. Yeah, Cajun looks confused. And he's certainly acting it too.
When Critter makes the comment of Uther has his way of getting a hold of people, Critter, you finally get something back. And in your head, it says, yeah, with this. And Ulthane and Gardain, you two specifically, because I know that you are not taken up in conversation or trying to help take apart the Ankeg. You see an orb float above the grass line, and it brims with green light. And you've seen it before.
Is it the milestone being used again?
It is. It is the milestone. And it looks like it's floating about in the same place where that rock formation was.
Well, is the people, are they safely away?
Yeah, everybody, there's a few scragglers, but they're just kind of at the back of the pack gathering their stuff. But yeah, the only person that is not a party member that's around is Grigland.
Well, I'll start walking. I says, regardless if the rock goes on us or not, we have to go get the milestone. So that's.
Well, looks at his brother, like glares at his brother. That was my first suggestion to do. Just like looking at him, like that was what I was suggesting to do, to go in that direction. And but now, because of the green orb, that could have been, maybe a demon empowering it more. Now we're gonna go fight it. It might be 20 times harder. He kicks this glaive up. He's like, "Let's go."
I was about to say, are you going, or are you gonna sit here and cry more?
Look at here. It was that one time, and I was drunk. Let's go.
Cation looks up to the sky and looks over to the others and hears them talking about heading off towards where the formation was. And he sort of says, "What if it falls?"
The orb is glowing now. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's glowing. If it falls, it falls. I mean, there's nothing we can do if the rock decides to come down. But
we could not be under it.
That is a sound plan, but the milestone is over that way. So, I mean, I'm not going to force you to come. This is your decision. But I'm going that way, and I see my brother is going too. So every man makes his own decision, or person. I'm sorry.
I will take up flank.
Ulthane, he looks at his brother and he goes, "There is no way you're going to go in front and lead us. I'll do the leading, thank you." He goes out at him.
Well, that's fine. We need to sound military mind back here.
So in my head, I hear the response with this.
Yes.
Help me. I'm not getting the context. I don't get how. I'm forgetting what I said specifically is what it is.
You made the comment of Uther has his way to get in touch with people.
And I'm struggling, and I'm hearing Cation as he's walking further away from me saying, I'll take up flank, and finally it hits me. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. Uther. And I dig that blade back into my fists, pop them out. Something's wrong. Uther uses the milestone to contact people. Craig is around.
Come with us with the rock and where the orb is, and we'll find out who's using it.
Craig is. Oh, damn. Craig is.
So, side note, the voice in your head did not sound. It was not Surfer Bro.
Oh, it didn't sound like Craig? It wasn't his voice?
Correct.
Oh, take back everything I said. Somebody just said with this, and they're able to contact me. And you all hear in your heads, Craig? And then, who are you? What do you want with the milestone?
To keep it.
Can you? And so I'm saying you want to keep it, and I'm making sure that everybody else is hearing the whole conversation. I'm phrasing all of my next lines using what he said, or what the voice is telling me. Do I recognize the voice?
No.
Okay. What if you want to keep it? Well, what are you what do you need it for? I'm sure Uther would be happy to work up some sort of share plan.
um. Huh. What do you use it for, bro?
And again, Craig? Some of the verbiage is him, and Craig, where are you?
You should come help me get the milestone under control, bro.
Can I make an insight?
Sure. What are you looking for?
Sincerity. Deception. It will be 19.
So the voice does sincerely want you to come. But some of because it's a 19, some of that verbiage that you're picking out seems forced.
Okay. I will then I sprint up to the rest of them and will, as I'm walking, step up between the two dwarves and very, very quietly, Craig says he wants our help. It doesn't sound like Craig. It sounds like someone trying to imitate Craig. Something is not right. Be very careful. If this is not Craig, they must be very powerful to be able to control the milestone. And I just turn and I walk over and I'll stop Cation, put my hand up or paw up. And say this, let you know the same thing. Looking back over my shoulder at the brothers, I look back at you, very serious, focused eyes. I don't know if we can help them. They seem determined. Would you run? And I'll turn and I will stand beside you. And if you continue walking, I'll continue walking.
Old thing looks over at his brother, looks back at everybody else, and goes, "If it is something of great evil, we sure will help him. Help him right out of it."
Well, when Critter I'll pat him on the arm before he walks off. Says, "We'll be we're the pillar of caution," and I'll walk past him and keep my brother focused, and we'll keep walking towards the orb.
Is the land between here and where the orb is that grassy, or is it sort of where crops were, or what's our terrain looking like?
So it's just overgrowth grass. It's not particularly difficult. It's just normal grass, but it's just has never been mowed. The ground's never been tilled. The only thing that is certain is the path that the Ankeg burrowed through. You can see where that ground had been raised, but it kind of ducks and spins out beyond your vision, but it definitely looks like it's in the direction of where that rock formation came.
All right, so Cajun would let Grickland know that they were going to investigate the glowing, and that he should keep his distance because we don't know how dangerous it is. And then Cajun would actually attempt to follow the tracks of the Ankeg, and because the others aren't really necessarily following it, they're going directly towards the orb. And so Cajun considers this a flank, but also he's curious about exactly where the tracks are leading. So he would go that direction.
All right, so go ahead.
I will. As I said, I was not going to move until Cation does, and when I see Cation start to move, I start to move as well, and realizing that I'm no longer beside him, he's moved in a different direction. My curiosity is piqued, and the cat instinct inside of me takes over, and I follow. But at the same time, I will spend 2 side points, and I will take my miniature kitten form as well. And you know what? Let's say for the sake of flavor that I do look like a cat, full on, when I do this. And I have a high squeaky voice.
All right. You can keep your inspiration. All right. So as you guys are kind of making your way through, Gardain, you come across a mound of what looks like cloth just slightly to the left of where your path is. You see it out of the corner of your eye.
I'll walk over. I'll, walk over to it and kind of examine it. Does it look bloody, or does it look like just?
It looks singed. It is it's a sash. That's all you can tell from looking at it, other than the color. And it is red, black, and blue.
I'll pick it up and I'll look as well. One of us is here, brother. Other than, all of us.
And you feel, as you're kind of holding it in your hand and pick it up, one of the ends is heavier than the other end.
I'll see what's in the other end. What's in the other end?
In the other end, you see a little blue pill.
Do I know what this little blue pill does?
Yes, you do. You've taken one yourself. This is a rejuve pill that Craig gave you the first time you met. A sensu bean, if you will.
Well, I'll put it in my pouch, and I'll wrap the sash around the handle of my axe, and I'll continue to walk on. I'll tell old thing, we need to be careful now.
Raise a brow at my brother and go, always careful. Pillar of protection, I am.
Cation, you can hear. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
He'll take his flask out and take a deep drink of it and goes, always safe. Always.
You can hear the brothers talking, Cation. You can't really make out specifically what they're saying. It's the sound of crickets and bugs and things like that have kind of filled the night sky, which maybe sounds beautifully melodic to you. And normal grasshoppers and crickets, not big ones. And you see, as you're walking, kind of sticking half out of the ground, something shiny.
Something shiny. Huh. Not especially interested in shiny things, but it's how off the track that I'm following is it?
It's actually in the middle of where this tilled ground is, so it's on the track itself.
Sure, I'll go and have a look at it if it's right in the middle.
Sure. So as you kind of reach down, what are you doing? Are you just looking at it? Are you grabbing it?
Well, I would look at it first, but I mean, it's getting dark, so I probably can't see too much. So yeah, I would kneel down rather than trying to pick it up. So I'd kneel down, get real close to it, and have a look.
So the reason that it's shiny is the moonlight seems to be hitting it just right, and it is what looks like perhaps a manacle, but it's hard to make out. It looks like just a strap of iron.
It's a strap of iron. Is it dug into the ground, or is it just lying on top of the ground?
It's mostly submerged in the ground.
All right, so I would dig around it, try to reveal more of it.
Sure. As you dig some of the space away, sure enough, I told you what it was the first time. Yeah, it's it looks like a set of manacles.
And Critter is following me, so I would point his attention to it and just say, I found this in the center of the path.
Do I know what it is?
Looks like a set of manacles.
I have no idea what these could have come from. Please put them in your pack so that I can look at it later.
Does it look like they've been broken out of?
They are open. The only thing you can tell for sure is on the insides, once you're kind of looking at them a little closer and get some of the dirt and grime off of them, there's some dried blood on them.
All right. Cajun would pick it up and put it in one of the little sacks on his belt. He'd try not to disturb the blood that's on it, so he would just pick up a little bit of it and put it in so it wouldn't disturb the rest of it.
So as you guys are all four from two different angles getting closer, each of you hears in your head, you're getting closer now. Are you paying attention?
And mentally I respond, paying attention to what?
As soon as you say that, Ulthang, Gardain, Critter. Let's see. Let me make sure. Yes, Cajun as well. The milestone falls out of view behind what is left of your trail. And the stone in the sky begins to move horizontally. And with every step that you take from each direction, because of how close it is, it's now completely blocking out the moonlight. And it's gotten very dark.
About how long has it been since I turned into a cat?
5 minutes, maybe.
Can I hide in the tall grass? Attempt to hide?
Yeah, if you'd like to.
I would. Uh, 20.
Okay.
I have plus 10 while I'm this small, and I also have advantage on stealth saves or stealth rolls, and I only get a 20.
You are shook, but still a cat. So because the objective has changed, Clyde, you were about to say something. Are you guys still moving forth?
Yeah. We haven't gotten the milestone yet. We need that. I will, however, Gardain will pull the pill out. Well, and he'll take it. Might as well see if we're going there. Be ready. But I will watch the rock, because even though I've committed myself to going after it, I don't want a rock to fall on me.
Yeah, it's actually moving away from you. Oh, you can tell.
Is the milestone still glowing, or did it?
It dropped out of your vision,
Uh-huh.
and you can't tell. Like, it's so dark, so you must think that it's not emanating light.
Which ways does that rock look like it's going? I know you said away from us, but like,
So the other side, like if it lifted up, it's moving like it's moving the same direction you are. And it's moving at the same speed that you guys are. Every time you take a step, you hear it kind of crunch and turn and move just enough so that you are always in darkness.
Like full on darkness? Not dim mechanically?
Full on.
How big does the formation did it look when we could actually see it?
So when it was in the ground, I think I used this descriptor last time. It looked a lot like Pride Rock from The Lion King. So yeah. It was very tall and also seemed to have a jutting out point that was very big. When it started to go up into the sky, you saw it. It's not the same size that it was. It's much smaller now than it was then. But it is still big enough that where you stand, it completely blocks out the moonlight.
All right. And how far away approximately was it, or is it? I mean, we can't see anymore. Like, ugh. Yeah, I don't know if you can answer that question because we can't really see it.
Yeah, at this point, it's hard to gauge. You assume that it's still roughly the same height, so at least 100 feet up. But it's hard to tell. You know, the last time before it started moving, you would guess that you were maybe 50 feet away from where it originally lifted out of, and but then it started moving.
Yeah.
So if we did the math, if we said it was 200 feet away, it's probably closer to like 170, 175.
Yeah. But it's moving with us. And I mean, we wouldn't be able to necessarily see exactly that anyway. You got to, all right. So, and it's so dark now that I probably can't follow the trail anymore, right? Like it's completely dark.
So there's upturned ground where this thing was. So by feel, you might be able to, but not by sight. if you wanted to specifically follow the trail, I would treat it as difficult terrain as you're trying to make sure that you stay on the trail.
I'm just saying what I've got. Got torches, but it's difficult to light in the complete dark. Could I spend some time to light a torch?
Yeah, I don't think that would be too difficult.
All right. I do that, and I will look to the others and say, well, it's dark. This thing is following us. It doesn't seem terribly wise getting closer, but it doesn't seem wise going back either. You guys determined to pursue this now at nighttime in the dark?
Well, if we turn around and go back, we're taking the seems like it's, keeping us that way. So do you really want to take it back to the town?
Fair enough. Cajun just sort of half shrugs, half nods, says, okay. And I guess I'll take point because I've got the light and keep following this trail for the moment.
But the three of us have dark vision.
Yes, I have dark vision, yes.
Ulthane asked Cajun, can you not see into the dark?
He's got dark vision, but complete darkness is complete darkness, right? Like, so.
Right. Well, you can see, I mean, it would be complete darkness is what? So you can, what does that
Black
mean?
and white, up to 60 feet with disadvantage on perception rolls.
That's right. I was thinking 30 feet, but yeah, 60 feet. So it's black and white, except for around this torch.
So looking around, are we in like, we're not in an open area, like an open field, right?
You're not in a forest. It's what an open field would look like if it wasn't tended for a long time. No animals have grazed here. The grass has grown unruly.
Is the light still? Is the stone still in the sky?
Yes, that's what's moving with you and blocking out the moon.
Ulthane leans the pole arm against his shoulder, and he reaches around his cloak and pulls out his heavy crossbow, and he cocks a crossbow bolt back, and he says, "It follows us. It's in the air. We can't fly." He takes aim and shoots at it.
Takes aim. Takes aim at the darkness. He's gonna shoot the darkness.
So you don't know exactly where it's at because it would be beyond your field of vision. You just know that that is what created the darkness. But if you could only see 60 feet and then everything else is black beyond that, you can't see far enough to see where it's at.
Don't waste your bolts. Let's just keep walking towards where we saw the stone, and we'll find out what's going on there.
Looking back, look to where he last remembered the sky to be in his mind. He's still kind of like, it's like, well, it's a blind shot, so he shoots where he remembers it last. It's like, not even looking. He's just like, this is good.
So if you're wanting to make an attack roll, you would do so with disadvantage. If it's a narrative thing, you can kind of give me an idea of what happens.
Well, with disadvantage, I rolled a 10 plus my proficiency 12. So I would probably not hit it
Okay.
because I don't know how far it is, like distance, because I can kind of like recall the spot of it, but it'd probably almost reach it, but the crossbow, I would say it's too far for the crossbow to actually hit. So
All right.
it's like this whole thing was just like, oh, it's flying, we can't get there. Couldn't hurt.
Occasion would point out to Critter that he only saw those iron manacles because the light of the moon was shining off them. And so that's why he's got the torch, just in case there's any other metallic objects or something that can reflect light. We're not going to see it that clearly, even with dark vision. You know, dark vision doesn't illuminate things. And he would continue to follow the trail.
So Cajun, the brothers are continuing on. When Critter decided to hide, is he going to, what's he doing?
I'm going to stealthily move through the grass, moving at half speed, so that I can continue to stealth.
Okay. So 10 or 15 seconds later, almost at the exact same time, Ulthang Gardain, you push aside the grass and step through, and you step onto a large clearing. The ground underneath you goes from grass to dirt and gravel. Cajun, you come out the same way, and the trail of the Onkeg goes on a downslope until you are no longer standing on it. You're standing on dirt and rocks. And for what you can see, it is still very dark, but this seems to be a large expanse of just dust, gravel, rock.
All right, so the trail leads down into a crater of some sort, or down into the ground?
Not down. So the way that I've viewed this thing is like the way something burrowing just a few inches under the ground would leave kind of a path.
Yep.
Of where it went, and that's what you've been following.
Yeah.
And then finally that path, whatever it was that was burrowing, dug deeper. And so the path flattened out and leveled out with the ground. And so that downslope is just the top of that path to the normal ground.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just flat gravel and dirt. And so he would look to the others, and he would say, perhaps we should make like a searching line like they do when someone goes missing in the forest. We stand 10 feet away from each other and comb through this area and see what we can see.
Good idea. So I'll line up down the left side of Cajun and wait for the others.
Yeah, at this time, that's when Critter, you step out into the same area.
Ah, I don't like it.
There's nowhere to hide.
I am ready to run.
And so as you guys are kind of getting in that formation side by side, the formation that's now in the sky shudders, quakes, and then it pops. And it's like an explosion, but the explosion only bursts out maybe a few feet. And so now this rock formation is in multiple chunks and pieces. And so there is moonlight shining through. And as you guys are kind of, adjusting back and getting your senses to you, you realize that the ground almost kind of goes down into a bowl shape. And you can make out more of the space now. You can see this is a giant circle. Again, bowl shaped. Standing in the middle, you see a figure masked by the darkness. And from it rises the green orb. And in your heads you hear, "Are you watching closely?"
I'm ready to run. And I say, even looking up to it, be ready to run.
So we can see the figure, but obviously, he is cloaked in darkness, but we can just see the outline of his form. Keaton will throw his torch towards the figure.
Give me essentially, let's see, make just the attack roll. We're not going to roll damage.
Disadvantage.
What are you aiming at?
The shadowy figure.
Okay.
I don't necessarily want to hit it, but I'm aiming for him. So
yeah, don't roll disadvantage then, since the outcome here you're looking for isn't necessarily damage.
Yeah, I'm definitely not looking for damage. I'm looking for a few seconds of illumination. Sure. I got 22.
Cool. So I was just looking for a footage. You are able to chunk this out about 25 feet, and it lands and it kind of flares up, some of the cinders flying off of it. And as you do, this figure kind of turns around and the milestone floats back down into his hand, and he sits there and holds it with his right hand. And as he touches it, it glows brighter and brighter. And that formation in the sky breaks into more and more pieces and splits out even further, still maintaining the overall circular shape, but it's much larger now and in many different pieces, letting through even more and more moonlight. And as it shines down on him, he's standing there, shirtless, with this whirling blade, almost as a shield, bald head. And he says, "Bros, you made it." You see Craig.
Cajun raises his voice and says, "What is my name?"
To be honest, I don't recognize you. Are you new?
What is his name? He points to Gardain.
And he says, Gardain. He's my drinking buddy, and that's his brother.
He raises a brow and goes, "Really? Do I have a name?"
He says, of course you do. It's Ulthane. I remember when you were sick.
Cajun says, "What are you doing?"
Retrieving the milestone that was stolen. That's why you guys are here, right? To help me secure it, right?
Yes. What's going on with all of this?
And with it in his hand, he kind of starts walking towards you and talking. And he says, well, whoever took it, I'm not sure what their plan was. But see, the milestone, it has a certain amount of control when applied in the correct way. And that control is normally of the earth. And though Uther does not use it in such a way, and he puts both hands on it, and it glows brightly, and a green light kind of rushes through him. Gardain, Ulthane, every time you've ever touched it, and you've felt like you've gotten stronger, that same light had passed through you. He says, whatever the plan was, maybe it was to change the tides. It's really not a matter of power when it comes to being able to control it. And he looks right at you, Critter. Because the milestone's what has all the power. It just allows you to bend things to your will.
Baby kitten steps back.
And again, a green rush of light flows through Craig's body.
Should you be in contact with that thing for a sustained amount of time, it might not be healthy.
I don't think that it's actually hurting anybody. Has it actually hurt anybody?
And Gardain will walk out and hold his hand out. Give me the stone, Craig.
Very funny, Gardain. I'm the ranking officer here. And now he's about 50 feet away from you.
Does he move back when Gardain approaches him?
Gardain, did you walk towards him?
Yeah, I'll like slow. I'm not like I'm going to bum rush him, but I'm just like, why don't you let me have the rock? You don't need to be holding on to it. I can hold it for you.
In your head. No, don't.
And he didn't step back, but he does stop and he looks down at it. And once more, that green light kind of pulses through him. And he holds it with one hand. And he says, like I said, Gardain, this is mine. But if you want, you can come take it.
Ulthane, the moment he speaks aggression at his brother, Ulthane remembers back to their childhood. He's always been the little brother, but always been the one when his brother won't be aggressive. He's always jumped to his brother's side. So he takes his pole arm and walks in front of his brother, and he goes, "Why don't you say that to me, high-ranking officer?" And with that, he kind of places his pole arm in both of his hands and says, "It's already summoned or made creatures that attacked us already. That stone's going back where it belongs. If we have to cut it from your dead corpse, I will."
All right, calm down.
And he's sitting there holding it, and he looks at you, and as you're talking, he kind of gives a little smirk, and his head kind of cocks back, a little interested in what you had to say. And then he turns and he puts both hands once more on the milestone. The green light fills him. But this time, all of the stones above just turn to dust. And now you can see the full light shining down on him. But not only that, all of you are completely visible. And he says, "You there, Paige. What chance does Ulthane have?" Speaking to Critter.
He should run. And about at this point, I come back up to full size, looking as my time as a kitten has worn off. He should run. And then in my mind, right to Kaishin. I said, "Remember, the brothers are committed. Will you run?"
I will not.
Says Paige, how long have you been with the guild? Years now, correct?
Yes, sir. Since I was in my teens. Almost 10 years.
10 years. Then you've heard of Olaf Darkhammer. He was the mighty fellow.
I have.
What was Olaf as he puts his hands and that green light shoots through him again?
What? I don't think I understand.
Olaf. You remember. He was the storm giant. What happened to him?
You dealt with him.
And where was Bravo? Where was Siren? Where was Uther? Where was the guild?
They were not around. It was
You mean to tell me that I alone felled that giant?
That is what I am saying.
He extends his arm out with the milestone in it. You still want it, Ulthane?
The dwarf just, with his glaive in his hand, he goes, "You killed a giant." He goes, "One moment." He shoves his glaive. Hold on. He shaves his glaive as deep in the ground as he can. Looks right at him and just goes,
You don't need. Look. The milestone needs to be put back up. You've held it long enough. Shouldn't you be putting it somewhere, or taking it back to Uther, or
Uther? He's not the one who asked me to get this. She wanted it, but she can't have it now. And he puts both hands on the milestone, and it doesn't light up, and he looks at it. And he looks up at you. And he drops it, and it rolls down behind him, down towards the center of the bowl. And when it gets to that middle point, out of stone, coming from the ground, is this rock point. And you can see gnarled wedges of it coming out from either side, a left and a right side. And the milestone begins to orbit it on the ground, spinning and spinning and clearing dust away. And every time it spins, it seems to be chipping further and further away until finally you see it has almost cut out this crude, unfinished statue. And it is a statue of Craig. And he turns for just a moment, looks at it, and turns back around. Even the stone knows its beholder. And he takes the whirling blade and switches arms. And he assumes a fighting stance. And he looks and says, "Who wants it now?"
Is he between us and the between us and the stone?
Yes.
How far away is he from us?
He is 50 feet from you.
Cajun will respond to his question and he will say, "The guild needs the milestone. It is how we operate. You of all people know this. It is not the property of one person, but of the guild. We are going to take it back to where it belongs."
And he kind of relaxes for a second. He says, "The stones have always changed hands. Constantly they rotate. You think the milestone is the only one that Uther has ever had? Just because he uses it in such a way that is deemed pure does not make him better than me." And as he says this, the moonlight almost seems to, you see the features on Craig's face go from what you've always recognized to now they're a little more gaunt. And it's almost, this green energy seems to be almost flowing through his, like blood in his veins, just under the surface of his skin.
While he's standing there, Ulthane will focus his mind. I mean, he's always been a hothead, always been a person to make people think. He always thinks with a blade first. But he has other tricks. I cast Detect Evil. Well, use Divine Sense anyway.
Okay. What does that give you?
It allows me to detect the presence, not exact whereabouts, but it allows me to detect, I think, fiend, undead, fae. Hold on, let me get it. I'll give you the exact wording of it. There it is. Divine senses. The presence of strong evil registers on your senses like a noxious odor or a powerful ringing in your ears, like heavenly music. As an action, you can open your awareness to detect such forces. Until the end of your next turn, you know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet of you that is not behind total cover. You know the type, celestial fiend or undead, of any being whose presence you sense, but not its identity, like a vampire cult and all that good stuff. Within the same radius, you can also detect the presence of any place or object that has been concentrated or consecrated or desecrated, as with the hollow spell.
So you detect something celestial, and all around you, you detect desecrated ground.
Mm. Mm. Where is the celestial presence radiating from?
The center of the bowl.
Just tell me, do you know what ground you stand on?
Says yes.
What ground do you stand on?
It's the ground I made.
You're standing upon desecrated ground.
So it is.
Says, do you know what desecrated ground is?
Enlighten me, Ulthane.
Says, you think the stone has chosen you for some greater purpose of whatnot. Says, your jealousy of the higher ranking officers in the guild is blinding you. But in actuality, everyone of the guild have nothing but love and respect for you. Says, desecrated ground is created by evil. Says,
Craig smiles. Go ahead.
He says, desecrated ground is created by evil. And if this is the ground you made, then that means it's evil. So either you willingly created a desecrated place, or you unknowingly did. As a paladin and a one of vengeance, I have certain oaths I have to uphold. And he takes his glaive off his shoulder, and he goes, and he points it at him, and he goes, if you made this willingly, that's breaking one of my oaths.
He looks at you for a moment, and his eyes pass to the others, and he comes back to you. Are you willing to give your brother's life for your oath?
I says, no. Their lives aren't mine to give. I says, but it is what I have taken as an oath to my God. I says, many things have killed. Always. You killed a giant. Congratulations. My people have been fighting giants since the dawning of time, which is older than the mankind, than the world of man. I goes, you killed a giant by yourself. That is an impressive task. But I will not stand here and let someone desecrate the ground. Will not stand and let evil pass. I says, I don't flee. I will not run. The other people may haul tail and run. That's fine. That's their decision. But the hammer of my fathers that ring for me will not stand for it.
What of you, Gardain? Are you willing to die for his cause?
I can't let you keep the rock if this is what you can do. I can't let you keep it. I'll look at Critter. If you want, if you want to, if you wish to go. I think nothing lesser of you. Every person has his own choice. Just tell them where our bodies are so my father can give me a proper burial.
Licking my lips, my tongue flicks out. My nose comes up. You dwarves are not very wise. Just really looking at the two of you with eyes full of shock.
And Ulthane looks at you and goes, then run. 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 That's all I can tell you to do. Then you will be known as the coward. Then run.
He would be known as the survivor. He could tell the story however he chooses.
And a knowing, if you see me, there's a look in my eyes of, and that's what I do.
It is my belief that the strange powers that lie in the milestone and those that you have created here, that they have corrupted who Craig really is, who you really are.
Are you trying to tell me who I
They have
am?
become something else. I am not. But the Craig that I have heard of, the Craig that Uther trusts, would not withhold this, would not steal this, would not do this.
Well, that Craig is gone. This Craig is here.
Then it is my duty to the guild to retrieve what has been taken and to return it to its proper place. If that means that you will fight, then that is what it means.
In the blink of an eye, as you say that, he quickly races towards the middle of the bowl, scoops up the milestone, and runs right back to the same spot. As fast as you've ever seen Critter, he moved as fast. And he stands there, and within just a matter of seconds is back holding it in his hand. And he says, "Who's first then?" And we'll roll initiative and take a bio.
Not zesty.
All right.
I'm here.
All right. So again, you guys are all standing essentially in a line on the outside of the bowl. Craig is 50 feet in front of you, holding the milestone and his whirling blade. Ulthane, you're up.
All right. Well, Ulthane, his glaive still on his shoulder. I tell him, last chance. Give up the orb. Or face wrath. That is Hunter's Mark and Vow of Enmity on him.
Okay, and Vow of Enmity is I have to attack you?
Nope. Vow of Enmity means every attack I made versus him has advantage.
Okay.
Hunter's Mark means every attack I score on him does an additional D6.
Very good. You going to move?
My action, I'm actually, yeah. Yeah, I'll move up. Yeah.
Okay. How far?
About 20 feet.
Okay. Cajun.
So he's definitely in a fighting stance.
Correct.
He hasn't harmed any of us yet. Cajun, as his action, will equip his shield. And he will start to walk down into the bowl. He doesn't want to walk in a straight line. He will sort of go diagonally so that he's like trying to do the whole flanking thing again, so that everyone's not in a line or whatever. And so he'll wander down and he'll be speaking, and he says, "It is not my wish to harm the body of Craig. If he has been taken over by whatever you are, then I must fight you. But it will be with some regret." And that will be his turn.
All right. Craig kind of hears you say that out of the corner of his ear, and he looks at you briefly, and without looking, he bounds forward, and he runs right up on Ulthane. And he is going to take attacks, and he is swinging the blade at you, or the whirling blade first. The first one hits. It's a 29. Second one is a 21. So, pull up his sheet. So you take 18 points of damage, And after he rakes and rakes, then he sits there and throws a knee and an elbow at you as well. And where's your AC? So you're two-handed the pole arm, so you're at 17 AC?
Yep.
All right. So the knee strikes true, but he misses with the elbow. So you take 8 more points. He is going to action surge, and he's going to take 2 more strikes. And he'll miss with the first one. Second one is a hit. And let's see, where's his maneuvers? There it is. I needed a D8. All right, he is going to attempt to hit you in such a way to force you to drop your weapon. He does, let's see, what is that? 18 more points of damage. And you need to make a strength saving throw.
$24.
All right. You have held on to your weapon. And let's see. So he moved 25 feet towards you. Yeah, that'll be the end of his turn. That brings us around to Critter. You are muted.
Excuse me. A bonus action. Shove that knife into my hand, and I've got the blades. And I will take the dodge action and move back 50 feet. In fact, I'm not going to move straight back. I'm going to move 50 feet to the side along the rim of this bowl.
Okay.
I learned my lesson with the on kick. So
anything else you'd like to do?
I've got my blades out. I've got dodge, and I moved.
All right, Gardain.
Well, finally.
Welcome to tomorrow.
I know. So how far away from me is he? I know he moved.
He is 25 feet because Ulthane moved up 20 feet, and he's right on the other side of him.
Okay. Then I'm going to move up towards. No, shoot. Well, that doesn't do what I wanted it to do. Okay. And I will cast Heat Metal on his whirling blade.
Okay. What does he have to do?
I don't believe he does anything. There's no savings throw.
There's a save, or he has to drop it, right? Or he takes damage or something.
Yeah, it's a metal weapon. Yeah, he takes 2d8 fire damage, and until the spell ends, I can use a bonus action to make it damage again.
Right. So any creature in physical contact takes the damage. If it is holding or wearing the object and takes damage from it, the creature then must succeed a con save or drop the object.
So he takes 2d8?
Yeah, okay. I see the concept. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, roll that up.
Okay.
Put the whoop on him.
$15 fire damage. And my, let's see, my DC for it is not my character sheet. This is my character sheet. It's 13.
All right, so he does not drop it. He holds on to it. Anything else you would like to do?
Nope, that was my turn. It took me an action to cast that.
All right. And so where are you standing?
I moved up close to him, and I'm going to heat metal. I'm going to move my 30 feet to get to him, and I'm was trying to get him to drop the whirling blade.
Very good.
So I'm up there next to him.
Sounds good. That brings us back around. Ulthane, your turn.
All right. Well, with advantage on my attacks, I'm guessing 2 double 20s at 25 will hit him, right?
That'll hit.
All right. So with both of my hits, I'm going to blow off my my smites on both of them.
Okay. So
With
smite damage should crit as well.
So, are you you're going to do crit damage on smites?
Oh yeah,
Because-
yeah. I played a paladin once, and I liked it that way.
All right. All right. He takes 79 points of damage. And Ulthane looks at him and places his hand over his heart, and he says, "When you leave this world, you're going to be a footnote in my clan's legacy." And I blow all my healing on myself.
The lay on hands is an action.
It's an action. So you're just gonna have to wait on that one.
Yeah, so you are unable to heal yourself. Cajun.
All right. Can I ask this one thing? What does that smite damage look like? Is there some sort of because Cajun may have seen something like this before, but possibly not. He's not really. I mean, he's been in a guild, but that's a lot of damage, and I would like to hear how that actually physically looks.
Well,
to us.
Quick question: would the Hunter's Mark crit too?
Yeah, sure.
Wait. Okay, just so I got this all under wraps. If I crit with a smite, I get to roll the smite's damage plus the maximum damage.
Right.
Oh shit. Then he takes a lot more than that. He takes actually 116 points of damage.
Very cool.
If that's how it works.
Yeah.
It would be like 44 just from the crit damage for the lot.
Yeah,
and then it would be a roll.
Well, you got to think. Well, if it works, if it does like Caleb says, okay, it's 14 points of damage just from the glaive itself because it's 10 and 4.
No, the glaive is just 10. The 4 does not get doubled.
Right. Your whatever you add to it doesn't get doubled.
No. I mean, both attacks was a 20.
So you rolled 4 20s? Because you said you rolled double 20s.
Double
right.
20. Yeah.
That was advantage on your first attack.
No. The first attack was a 14 and a 20, naturally. The second one was a 1 and a 20.
Okay.
Because I have Polearm Master, I can smack with both ends of my... I'm essentially fighting with 2 weapons with the glaive.
Sure.
Okay, so It's 14 damage.
So let's do it one at a time. So it's 10 max, and then plus your roll plus 4 is the damage. So how much damage did you do with just the glaive head?
Just the glaive itself would be like maximally it's 20 because it's 14. It's 10 from the main end, 4 from the off end, and then 6 for my strength modifier. It puts it at 20. Okay, hold on. Let me write all this down. All right, 20. And then let me go to my die roller here. So the glaive itself, the actual damage rolls was 13 damage.
Okay, so we're at 33 from the glaive and the butt with the crit.
Yeah. So
okay. And then you smited.
Then I smited, and it's 6d8 because I blew in my 2 second level spell slots. So it rolls.
It's 2d8 from the it's 3d8 from the first one.
Yeah.
Let's just
3d8 from the first one. It rolls 16. 4, 6, 6 is what it rolled.
Okay.
So that's
3d8 is 24 plus 16 is 40.
And then the second smite, the damage it rolled on the second smite was 7, 5, 3.
Okay, so 15.
Yeah. So
plus 24 is 39.
So with the damage from rolling the smite is 31 damage altogether. So from the 33 from from the glaive, then rolling the glaive is 33. Rolling the smite is 31, which puts it at 64.
I've got you at 112 damage that you did on that. Is that what you said?
Hold on. Let me, because if you roll if you maximize everything, then get to roll it, 48 plus 12 is 60. And then, which rolling the hunter's mark, it does 5 damage.
Right.
So we've got 60.
So that's plus 11. So I've got you at 123.
123, then plus 5 from the hunter's mark itself, from the actual 2 it rolls. So it's I got 128.
Okay, 128. I'm good with that. Oh, all right. So that's your turn, and you were unable to heal because that is an action. Very good. Cajun, did you go?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay.
So was there a visual?
Yeah, that's what we were asking, right?
Oh, yeah. Ulthane just pretty much, when he goes to smite, he pretty much looks like a fucking little Wolverine tearing into him. With each hit that he does, it almost like time stops for a minute as it hits, and it seems like the hit just like almost hits with the impact of a mountain, as though the ground beneath him rumbles, and the sound of anvils are smashing off of steel. With each hit he hits on the dude's armor, it sounds like anvils slapping on steel, and with the butt end of it doing the same. It literally looks like a dwarf of twice, almost triple Ulthane's normal age, as a blaring thing of smiting.
Okay. So seeing this, Cation stepped back a little bit. Sort of this rocking hammer and anvil kind of situation. And he sees the Krieger still standing. And yeah, this sort of gives him pause. He looks up into the sky, and he raises both of his hands, and just on the edges of your hearing, there's a sound like bats, and all of a sudden, just coming out of Cajun's staff, all of these bats just start flying, seemingly from nowhere. And what they do is they encircle Craig and make a cylinder that's pointing directly up at the moon. And as they do this, they're creating a pillar, like a cylindrical pillar, up towards the moon. And that raises 40 feet up into the air. And then they just dissolve into moonlight. And I'm casting Moonbeam on him. And he needs a Constitution saving throw, please. $14.
Yeah, you got a 14 on that.
All right. So he takes half damage. So it would have been 16. So he takes 8 radiant damage. And I'm guessing he's not a shape changer, so he wouldn't take disadvantage on that roll. And the beam is a concentration. So as long as I can concentrate, it will stay on him, and I can then follow him with it on my turns. But for now, it's a beam of silvery moonlight that has dissolved out of the bats, and Cajun will continue to move. He will move so that he's 30 feet away from the rest of the group, or from Ulthane. And he's sort of towards the center of the bowl. So he's moved kind of in a semicircle, I guess, towards the center. And as a bonus action, I am going to cast Shillelagh on my staff. So what in fact will happen is the bats, once the moonlight comes, they sort of dissolve into insects, and the insects fly out of the moonlight and spiral around my staff. And it is now surrounded by spiraling insects, and that is my turn.
Cool. And you said it was 8 damage from the moonbeam?
8 radiant damage, yes.
Gotcha. All right, Clyde, we're at the front of Craig's turn. Does he have to make another save?
Oh, I don't think he has to make us. I think, let's see, it's, let's see, I can use at my turn.
Okay.
So, yeah, if he made it, then he's good until it comes back to me.
Right, but he has disadvantage with attacks with that weapon, correct?
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So the look in Craig's eyes, it almost flares. His eyes turn just black. It went from, seeing Craig's soft, caring eyes that were looking mean to just this black. And it almost happened at that moment. Whatever the moonbeam did to him, that seemed to cause something to occur. He is going to rear back, and as he's going to slam in with the milestone, he drops off the blade, the whirling blade. So 27 hits and a 19 hits. Oops. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. So you have a 27, or excuse me, you have a 19 AC, don't you, Gardane? So he's going to lead with this milestone and kind of swipe it across, and he's going to hit both of you with that. And we'll start with Ulthane. You will take 12 points of damage. And Gardane, you will take 4.
Okay.
And then he is going to rear back and once more take a swing, elbows, shoulders, knees, and toes at Ulthane. Are you still up, Ulthane?
No, I'm down.
Okay. He is going to, I think he's going to stomp on Ulthane and then make a kick towards his brother. I guess he has advantage on the prone target. So 20 hits Ulthane and a 20 hits Gardane.
He will hit a hot steam as I cast shield.
Okay.
And since you hit the unconscious character, it's an auto crit.
Oh, is it?
Yes, sir.
There you go. So this isn't going to kill you, but it does do what? It gives you 2 death saves.
That automatically counts as 2 failed death saves.
Okay. Critter.
Huh. I am going to, they look like they're doing pretty good, so I'm going to attempt to help. I release my blades. I draw one of the Kachkas and I'm going to throw it at it. Throw it at him.
Okay.
That's a nat 20.
That's
with
a crit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a 1 on the dice. So 10 points of slashing damage.
Nice.
Yeah. And literally like a cat that jumps in, I take the rest of my 50 feet and move. This time trying to keep more of my distance.
Gardane.
We're back to tomorrow. Okay. Oh, excuse me. All right. I'm going to. Well, I'm not going to be. I'm going to move. Get between my. I'm going to get his attention now. Since he won't. Okay. So we've got to. I want to use my battle axe against him. Where'd it go? He went somewhere. There it is.
You don't have a heal or anything? He's down to his last death save.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Let me see what I can do. Heal. Living. Okay. No, I have a better one than that, I thought. Yeah, I'm going to up to 6 creatures now. I'm just going to, okay, I'm going to healing words him at level 2.
Okay. What does that do?
It heals him 1d4 plus a 1d4, I believe, above 1. Is that right? No one using us. Yeah. So it's 2d4 plus my spell casting ability. So 2, 3. I heal him 6.
Very good. I would like for you to describe how it is almost this resurrection.
Oh, when he goes down, Gardain will move over to where he's at and will throw his axe, will bury his axe into the ground and kind of kneel down, and from the axe there'll be like heat that come from it, and it starts to grow across the ground like scorched earth. And I'll grab him by his collar, and I'll shake him and says, "It ain't your time yet. I'll say when you're dead." And the fire goes into him.
Nice. So yeah, breath of life. Anything else you'd like to do, Gardain?
I believe that's all I can, because I think that was a healing words is. Oh, it's a bonus action. Okay. Okay. Well, now I'm going to turn around there and smack him with my axe. Now look, I don't know what you become, but you've crossed the line now, and I don't have advantage on it. Does 17 hit?
Yes, it does.
Well, I'll be dog. Okay. What is it? 1d8, I know. 1d8 plus, 1d8 plus 2. 8 damage. And I'm staying there.
All right. Ulthane, you are alive, but laying on the ground.
Use 5 feet of my movement to stand back up.
Okay.
Fuck it. We're going back at him. Okay. Blam. Blam. 17, 18.
Both of those hit.
Fuck it. Gonna smite both times.
Okay.
Have you got that many spell slots?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think he's used anything else.
Nope. 10, 16, 16, 24. $44 points of damage.
All right. And so this time when you hit him, those blacked out eyes, he's kind of looking at your brother, and then he turns as you're standing up and getting yourself together. You make your attacks on him, and the first time you hit him, you see almost like a ripple of gray pass across over his face, and then when you hit him with your butt, you can see that from the nose down, just all of his skin is just torn up, blistered, and it has this gray-green tint to it that almost doesn't seem to match the rest of his face. Would you like to move?
Nope.
All right. Cajun. Does this moonbeam, what happens on the moonbeam every time around? Because I don't think I did it last time.
Right. So when it gets to the creature's turn, if it starts its turn in the beam, it needs to make the save and take the damage.
I did not do that.
Okay. So it's another con save.
Okay. All right, he got an 8.
Yep. So we'll deal with that after game, I think, so that we can just describe what's going on with the character. So that's fine. So he would take 13 points of radiant damage. So that was on his turn.
Right.
And yeah, so basically at the start of his turn, as long as he stays in there at the start, and then I can move it on my turn if he moves away, but he didn't. Okay. So we're back to my turn now. Right. Sorry. Not knowing how much, like how healthy Gardane, Ulthane is, but he's alive. I think, would I see some rocks on the ground?
Yeah, there are definitely, I mean, none of them are going to be real big, but there are definitely some the size of your fist.
Well, I'm going to do as the chat suggested. I'm going to grab 3 rocks, and I'm going to cast Magic Stone, which transforms these rocks. That's a bonus action to cast. And I'm going to throw one as my action at the creature. Whatever this glowing creature is, Craig. So it would be like 17 to hit.
Yes, a 17 does hit.
All right. And he takes... let me just double check my wording here, but I think I've got that right. Plus your spellcasting modifier. Okay, so it's 7 points of magical bludgeoning damage. And how this looks is some of those. Actually, I'm gonna have a one of those bats come down, pick up the stone, or catch it in the air as I'm throwing it, and it'll just like fly over and drop it right on Keg's head.
Nice.
As the magic component of that. And I will move 15 feet towards the melee.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
All right. And so he needs to make the save because he's still in the moonbeam here.
That is correct. As long as I concentrate. And I
And
haven't
what's
cast
the
any
what's the save
spells.
DC?
14.
All right, so he does not make the save.
Okay.
So how much
So-
damage does he take?
That's another. 18 radiant.
Nice. So what you see here, as this moonbeam, it just seems to be pulsing, every so often. This time, as that pulse shoots down on top of Craig, this one pulses through, and his skin just starts exploding off of him. And all you see after it explodes out is you just see this all black-skinned, black eyes, featureless face standing there. And he takes a minute and he turns to make a move at you, but as he does that, the moonbeam pulses once more and you see him explode.
Okay. Boom.
So Craig exploded, or what looked like Craig and then didn't. And that, so there we are.
All right. He went boom.
Yeah, that was. So
You guys are standing in this area, this rock and gravel circle. The milestone hits the ground and starts very slowly kind of rolling back down towards the center of the bowl, towards that rock statue of Craig.
Oh, well, Cation would grab his quarterstaff and he would run and he would put the quarterstaff, like, I don't know, 5 centimeters off the ground to try and stop the orb from rolling right into the center of the crater or bell.
Okay.
oh, you want to? I'll hold out my sack. You want to put it in the sack?
I would recommend like putting the sack over it so that you're not touching it with your hands. Just because, I mean, and it like Cajuan's like really scared at this point, like because someone or he thinks, especially because the person that he just cast this spell on exploded. It's like don't do anything. So what he says is, be careful with that thing. I think you should use something to. You don't know what it's gonna do if you touch it with your hands.
Right. How about I'll hold my sack open and you use your quarterstaff. We roll
it in.
Yeah. Let's play pool.
Sounds good.
You're going to use a staff. No, I got an idea. I'll use the butt end. I'll use the butt end of my glaive, like use the metal part and tab it in. I'll use the blade to look like a pogo stick, or not a pogo stick, one of those polo stick, whatever. Kind of like knock it into the bag.
And I'll tie it up and just dangle it. So you want to tie it to the end of your quarterstaff, Cajun?
Whatever works.
Little hobo sack.
Look, I don't know what to do. I've got it by the strings, and that's what I've got it.
Hey, I volunteer my glaive. I volunteer the glaive.
I don't understand how that's working, but okay.
We'll volunteer the glaive.
So,
The glaive will endure.
So I tie it to the glaive.
from behind you guys, after you get this thing up and over, you hear cracking. You turn to see what it is, and this stone statue in the middle, you see it, and it's standing there, and pieces of it, part of the billowy shirt and the sash that's built into this statue, crack and fall off and fall to the ground. And eventually, a piece in the chest cracks, breaks, and falls apart. And the arm cracks, breaks, and falls off. But there's an arm underneath it. Time goes by as you're watching this occur. And eventually, the entire stone sculpture statue bursts loose, crumbles, and from it falls Craig, who lands face dirt in the middle of this bowl, or face first in the dirt in the middle of this bowl.
I'll go over and help him up. Well, or look to him. I don't know if he's a.
Wait, what is this statue that this thing made?
That
Or is
was
that what?
Craig.
Oh,
We found. I think we found Craig. Is he still alive?
What is it? Make a medicine check.
okay. Old Thane walks over to him, and when he sees his brother, like, is he alive? I go, we'll find out. I'd touch him and expend 1 point of my healing pool.
As soon as you touch him, both of his arms quickly pop out to his side and palms flat on the ground, and he pushes himself up and he lands. And before he's even looking any of you in the eye, he's in a fighting stance that you've seen before, and he whistles, and whirling through the grass, almost out of nowhere, you hear a bang, and his blade ends up on his arm. And it's not the one that you had cast your spell on previously.
I was going to say, that's going to. I will fix that later.
And he catches it, and he stands there, and he looks at all of you, and he breathes, and he drops down to his knees, and he falls over unconscious.
I'll pick him up and fireman carry him.
Well,
Which I don't believe that's too high off the ground. So he's dragging his arms and his feet, but I've got him.
no, I got him. We can do it. We'll dwarf carry him back.
Stack on each other's shoulders. And
No. It's like he's got him by the feet, and I've got him like under the arm, just like carrying him. He looks, almost. It's almost like carrying game back, except we don't have. Oh, dude, we could totally tie him to the pole too. We could just like tie him to the glaive. We could just like have him like hunters carry deer.
No. We'll give the man. So we'll get, at least we're not going to do him that way.
Old thing goes, but got to have a little bit of fun. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, is he out from injury or out from just exertion or exhaustion?
At this point, exhaustion's probably a good way to put it. I mean, he's unconscious, but like healing him's not going to wake him up.
Okay. Well, then at that point, I don't feel bad when I blow the rest of my damn healing on myself.
Yeah.
I'll just keep carrying him. We don't have a.
Where are you going?
We have is it the Waystone or the Milestone? Because I think I've called it 3 things tonight.
It's the Milestone.
We will go back to the Townstone. That's what we're going to call it.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll start heading back to the guild.
Well, before we go, Cajun would look around for maybe like a very substantial branch or something like that, and he would try and make a marker on the edges of the crater of some sort. He's heard that like Gardane or Ulthane say that the place was desecrated, and he does not have the magic to undesecrate it. So,
speaking of that, actually, Ulthane stops, and is the ground still desecrated?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. I just can sense desecration. Can't do much for that. Look at my brother. I go, the ground's still desecrated around here. And generally, the vicinity of area, he kind of like, I guess as far as he can sense, I suppose. Or as far as, like, I think it's like 30 feet as a 30-foot radius, I suppose.
Well, I've got to. Well, they're talking about all that. Well, I can say a prayer for it. I don't.
Could we send some, I guess, people from the guild, some like clerics from the guild to do it?
That would be.
Because I'm sure removing it's a lot more powerful than we are.
We could look into it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we'll look into it when we get back to the guild.
Yeah, so Cajun would market the best that he could with whatever was around. And I don't know, what have I got on me? I'm wondering if I could just make like a warning, like a symbol of some sort of warning at the rim for anyone that was coming by. I don't know how I would make that up, but because I don't have anything really. Just looking at what I've got. But could I make some sort of warning of some description? I don't know.
As far as like available tools and stuff like that, you don't think so, but you're not that far from town. So
yeah,
obviously you could make sure that everybody is aware of it and probably have them undertake at least the first couple of steps.
Right. Sure. Well, we'll head back to town then.
Cool. What are you guys doing back in town?
We need to fashion a sign. Just stick it in the ground. Just so undead will not walk here. Because
I guess we could let Craig have some time to recuperate, because I don't think we know how to use the milestone to get home.
Oh, I certainly wouldn't be using it after what I've seen. Cajun would go back to the mayor and report that we haven't, well, to his knowledge anyway, found what was taking the crops, but what we did find was, and would explain the situation. There's unhallowed ground out there, and that it was taking the form of Craig, and basically making a copy of him. That's likely to be very powerful. That we're taking the milestone back, but we haven't actually completely solved the thing yet. But we probably need to sleep before we do that, and say that we're willing to continue to look into it, but we really need to send the milestone back to the guild.
I think we did find out what took their crops when we killed that giant bug.
Well, you do realize, just out of thing I'd like to point out to my brother, you do realize anything taller than us is a giant bug, right? Like, just so you know.
Okay, well, still we may have found it.
I think it was the bug people, and I don't think the ad cake had anything to do with it. It might have been the bug people, or it might have
Well,
been
in
the
any
ad cake.
case, Cajun would report that there's no official, like, we didn't find an official solution, but we have our like a suspect. We don't know where they're coming from, and he would ask whether they've come across them before and where they might be originating from people in the town. You can ask around.
Didn't before they said something about ad cake make good fertilizer?
Yes.
So I'm sure they've seen one of them before. But yeah, it's a good question.
So if you talk to some of the farmers, including Grickland, a lot of the feedback that you would get is that this is something that is a fair. They're not familiar with, these bugs and things like that. They've heard stories about them, and just like it was bedtime tales, but it's one of those things that we never thought it would happen here.
Yeah.
But and it never had up until just then.
All right.
We could always stay here to see if it happens anymore. I mean, the pile of rocks is gone, right?
Yeah.
That was there?
Yeah, it all turned to dust in the sky.
So I mean, good.
Probably ask what they would, if they want us to stay, or what they're expecting at this point, now that we sort of have an idea of what it might be, but we don't have any solid leads of where they're coming from or why they're doing it or anything like that, what they actually want us to do, because that's what they hired us for.
Right. So this would be a question that would probably be aimed at the mayor, and he would tell you, I've already paid for it. If you guys feel comfortable, then we feel comfortable. Sorry that you guys got into a lot more of a mess. I know that's not what you came here for, but we appreciate what you guys did for us. And that's it. It's your call. To be honest with you, the swarm, if I were to guess, maybe you could talk to somebody at your guild. They may know more about it than I do. They weren't necessarily aggressively hurting people. They were just taking crops and farms, vegetables, fruit, things like that. So they weren't actually making attempts on people's life. And it was Grickland specifically who was dealing with it. And I'm sure you've seen him. If he ever got his hands on one of them, I'm pretty sure they're staying out of his way. So if you feel like the job's done, good. I know the guild's always been good to those. If for whatever reason they've had to check the services, as it were. You guys have always been good about making sure that the work's done properly, appropriately. And if we needed you to, you guys would be able to come back. So it's your call. You guys are welcome to stay. It's whatever you'd like to do.
I'm guessing we would need to get back to let them have the house back and to tell them what happened.
Well, we could send a messenger or some sort of, I don't know if there's pigeons or whatever, to go back to someone to go back to the guild and see what Uther wants us to do. I don't know whether that's like we send a raven. Yeah.
Well, we could always entrust the dangerous corrupting artifact in the hands of a raven, just send it back to You know,
Well,
What's the wor-
the artifact is safe with us for the moment.
what's the worst that'll happen? Somebody kills the raven, takes the artifact, and resurrects the ancient god of destruction. Well, by God, who saw that coming?
Cajun would just say that he's uncomfortable leaving too soon, just in case more of these things come. He acknowledges that Grickland is quite the burly man, but I don't know. Like he doesn't. He'll say out aloud that he doesn't feel like he's solved the problem. That's what his feeling is.
Well, we could always do this. We could always wait for dude to wake up, and considering he would be considered the commanding officer at the moment. I think we should wait on him, and by waiting on him, we could also help out with the folks and make sure. And during this period of time, we could actually see if those things come back.
Deal. I'm sold on that.
Because I mean, he is commanding officer, right, or higher rank than we are. So I mean.
Oh yeah.
So.
Okay, sounds solid. We wait for Craig to regain consciousness and take our lead from him.
And I mean, if we're really worried about the stone, the milestone, we could always like get a little small, because I'm pretty sure they have like a little small box or something that'll fit. I mean, like a jewelry box or something, because I'm sure the freaking stone ain't like the size of a damn frisbee or something. So we could get a little box and put it in there, lock it, make sure it's safe. So Sauron won't tempt anybody to
the milestone is roughly the size of a bowling ball, so it is big.
Oh, okay. Damn, really?
Yep.
Well, then
I was thinking of like, wow, okay.
Then we'll put it in a bucket.
Yeah, screw it. We'll put it in a bucket. We're good. It won't do anything. Still, bucket monsters become a thing. Then we're in trouble. Well, I mean, would it be possible for us to get something like a container to lock it in so it can be, out of sight, out of mind, so to speak? Because I'm kind of worried that if he was tempted, because we don't know what kind of shape his mind is in now. And I did sense celestial and consecrated ground, which usually isn't a good combination. So Ulthane is thinking if we'll get get a big enough box to get it out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, when he wakes up, he won't be tempted by it. If it indeed done that the first time. So.
Okay, we'll put it in a box and then let's just wait.
So it's nighttime now. So are you finding a place at the Three-Legged Dog? They actually did ready a room for you before you came out on your little excursion.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they,
yeah, we might as well rest up while we can.
Yeah, I'll suggest I'll take guard duty. Like, I'll literally sit on the damn box if I have to.
Well, I mean, the rooms have locks on them and stuff like that, so it depends on how comfortable you are with it. So we'll wrap up on this. You guys decide to take shifts, and Ulthane, your shift, you take the last one, and you're sitting on the box itself, and all of you kind of come together at the same time, and you see Craig standing there. He's looking at everybody, I says, all right. So now that you guys are awake, what happened?
You tried to or the evil version of you resurrected a rock with the milestone.
An evil version of bros. Okay.
Oh,
Evil
hold on,
version.
hold on, hold on.
Super deep.
Little thing goes, hold on. I get a cask of beer, and I hand it to him, and I go, "You try. Some version of you had the stone,
What stone?
and
The milestone
the milestone.
Oh shit! What?
that we
Yeah.
have in a box that you can't
Where?
touch. You can't
Where's
touch.
this?
It's in a box over there.
Why can't I touch it?
Because hey, I got this. You resurrected a rock.
I resurrected a rock?
Yes, the evil version of you resurrected a rock, so you can't touch the rock.
So it wasn't me then, right, bros? Like,
I
so
don't know.
You guys
We
have
don't
the
know.
milestone, though.
No, we don't know if this version of you is you or not. So you will. So I'm sorry, but you can't touch the rock.
Listen, I don't tell you how to tell me what to do, so don't tell me how to do what you tell me to do. Where is it?
It's in a box over there.
Safely put away."
Cool. Bros. So, you said evil version. That's totally cool. You guys don't trust me right now. I guess that seems natch, even though, and he sits there and he looks at Gardane and Ulthane and says, I gave you that stuff like for free. So I think realistically here, if nothing else, you guys probably owe me something, but I'm not, who's keeping score? Not a big deal. That's fine. You don't want me to touch it. What did evil Craig do?
Okay, so we were sent here to help the people here. So we went out to the field and we fought. I don't think we ever got a name for them. We fought some bug people. Okay, fought some 4-armed bug people that jumped out. Yeah. That had pole arms. They was fighting with pole arms and other things. So
Sure.
anyway,
Standard.
yeah, whatever. The cat over here, our critter friend here, got some of their stars, whatever they threw. After we defeated the mantis-looking people, we fought a large mandible-esque creature. It's hard to describe what it looks like. I'm sure the people can tell you what it is. They seem to love these things. They make fertilizer out of it.
Oh, it's an oncog.
Yeah,
For sure, bro. They make good eats and good ferts. So go ahead.
okay, so we defeated it. We saw the giant boulder, some special rock lift into the sky. Darkness fell over us. We could barely see, I couldn't see that great. Only we could see so far ahead of us. And once we got to where we could see, we saw here's the question. Did the version of Craig that we fought, did it look like Craig, or did it have like a different color to him?
It looked like Craig.
Okay. I says, so there you were, standing in the opening, under the rock or what have you, and you was holding the milestone. We tried to get you, person of you, to give us the stone back so we can return it back to Uther, back at the club, at the guild. You didn't give it over. We killed your clone, and you fell out of a statue because apparently the milestone is a really good sculptor, because it made a perfect statue of yourself. And when we defeated the clone, I suppose You became real, fell down. Me, I'm able to sense presence, and I sense the celestial but desecrated, a desecrated area. So the ground that we fought you on is now desecrated.
Right. That for sure. That little side note. You said you felt something celestial, angelic. That was the stone, bro. And that's because a Deva arrived one day and he gave it to me. The milestone's mine. I gave it to Uther because I had no reason. I would rather drink than save the world, bro.
Well, it's nothing against you, bro. Okay, nothing.
And it's nothing against y'all. I don't have a problem with it.
But we would all feel safe because we did fight a clone of you that tried to kill us.
Right, but it wasn't me. The last thing I remember was I saw, and he looks around the room and he points at Gardain. Last thing was we were sitting in those chairs. I told your buddies, these people who are now forsaking me, bro. I told them to save your life. I was the hero. I fell into a pit, and Arlette has had me tied up and sucking the life force out of me. No pun intended, bros. Not as fun as it sounds.
I asked him, I says, your disc, the little whirling thing on your arm, does it only come to you?
For sure.
I says, whatever it was that had your form, your shape, it used that disc against us. Your disc against us. So
you remember when Craig stood up in the middle of the bowl after he fell out of the statue, he whistled and a different one came to him. The other one was still laying there.
Oh, so he had it.
Okay. It's a different one. Okay, gotcha. I thought it was the same. I thought it was the same one he had, or the one the other guy had.
No, he called a different one.
Okay. So recalling this, he goes, okay. Ignore that statement. I says, I just want to make sure you're okay. That there are twisted things in the world. I just want to make sure everything is safe within it.
Sure, I understand you're a little scared. I get that. I have that effect on people. I don't mean to. I get that. I'll have to be honest with you. I hate to do this, but I'd have to pull rank on you here, man, because honestly, that's mine. I am supposed to be the bearer of that. I'm the only person who can handle that or gift that without the holder going mad. Now, maybe you don't get that, but I need that because we have to take it back to Uther. You guys can ride with me so you feel safe. I don't have a problem with it. But at the end of the day, that's mine.
No, old thing goes, that is true.
Okay, hold on.
I get it. Old thing tells it. He says, give it to him.
I'll pick the box up and hand it to him. Here you go. If you want your rock, you can have your rock.
Yeah, he takes the chest and sits it down and flips it open and pulls it out of the sack, and he sits there and holds it. He's like, oh, shit. Whoever that evil me was used it up. This thing ain't going to be good for a while. And he sits there and he tucks it under his arm. He says, so, and he looks around. Where the hell are we? And we're going to end the session right there.
Wait.
Famous line. It's good. We got my stone back. Where are we, by the way?
That's right. All right. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for playing. Once again, House of Shenanigans. Don't worry, everybody. Craig's not dead.
Thank God.
Have a great night. Thank you so much. Yeah, that sounds like that's it. We will see you guys. We're going to probably skip the game in 2 weeks and push it to a third week because we want to make sure Matt has plenty of time to move and Jim has plenty of time to be the radio voice for a football game. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.